Hi, Holly. Hello. Sorry. sorry. That's number one fan behavior. Hold up. It's actually I'm going to melt real quick. Ah. Oh my god. Okay, okay. We're back. We're rolling. Everything's good. Oh my god. We'll never no it's not. Holy shit. Okay. All right, we are back finally for good. Everything is fine. Everything is working. At least I hope so. You seems like the microphone's working, the camera's working, everything's working. So we should be in for a decent stream here today. Holly, how are you doing today? I felt like a receptionist doing that. I was typing and talking to you, asking you about your day at the same time. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, we took a long break. Some people might not know what happened last week with the Halloween one, but it's all right. It's all right. Oh, hold up. Okay, so I just got news. Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee show, who's going to be in Athens this week. I'm hyped. So excited. At least I think it is. It might not be. Pat might actually. It might be in Indianapolis, but Pat might be here. I don't actually know. But anyways, Aaron Rodgers on Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays. Good, easy day. That's good. But Holly, the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame quarterback, right now currently playing for the New York Football Jets, who tore his Achilles on his fourth snap, playing for that brand new team, is very slowly making his return. FNAF movie review. What's up, Dawson? Okay, yeah. So me and Dawson, we didn't watch the Monday Night Football game last night. Didn't really need to. Chargers blew it out of the water. At least that's what it looked like. I know the Jets defense put up some good numbers as well, but was absolutely not enough. The Chargers defense actually played football for once. But Holly's favorite topic, football and the FNAF movie. FNAF movie, I enjoyed it. I had a good time in there. Definitely caters to the fan base of FNAF. So if you have no idea what's going on, you might be in some trouble. But I thought it was good. I'm excited they're definitely making more. I'm excited for the others. I do wish it was like a little bit more scarier, and I didn't like, the whole drawing thing at the end. Don't want to give anything, because I know Holly is dying to watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, so I don't want to spoil it for her. Holly's two favorite things, football and the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. But enough of the Five Nights at Freddy's. First, hold on. I need to know Dawson's opinion. Dawson, I know you think it's a good movie, right? I thought it was pretty good. It's nothing crazy, but I did thoroughly enjoy it. I don't know if Jack's watching. I think Jack's sleeping right now. But he actually told me in the car that he thought it was an okay movie. I know his expectations were extremely low. Expectations were extremely low headed into it. But, once it was all said and done, I think he appreciated it for what it was. I think he needs to get into some FNAF lore, because he was reading really deep into some of the scenes in the movies. Give it an 8 out of 10. Jack gave it a 6. I think I'm going to shoot in the middle, and I'm going to give it a 7. Yeah, the robots itself, well, the fact that they created, like, real life animatronics for the movie that actually worked, and they looked phenomenal. They looked extremely good. So, yeah, it was. I'm super impressed with that, especially how they made the pizzeria look. I don't know, the whole Springtrap thing kind of threw me for a loop. The whole ending, really, I thought it was a little bit rushed. I can't believe I'm talking about Five Nights at Freddy's lore right now. There's people who are tuning in for it, thinking they're getting NFL predictions. We are talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, folks. But I honestly wish there was more jump scares in it, because I wasn't scared like at all during the movies. Like, there are some parts where I was like, whoa. But other than that, I wish there was more, more of an eeriness, more of a scary feel to it. But then again, I guess a lot of the demographic is for kids, and you don't want it to be too scary. So I understand that part. This is an NFL student. Steven, did you see the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? I need to know the obsessed sports kid's opinion on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. You saw it? Did you see it with Luke? I need answers, Steven. Okay, whatever. That's fine, I guess. I think we can talk about football. Some major things going on in the NFL, as there is always. One, I just heard that the return of Aaron Rodgers, making a historic return, we feel is imminent. Apparently, he, give it a couple of weeks, and, major L for the New York Jets last night at home against the Los Angeles Chargers. One of the games I predicted incorrectly last week. So my hopes for the Jets' playoff chances are slowly diminishing, but at least, what did the Cowboys do wrong? I want to say I wasn't expecting very much from the Dallas Cowboys. They're a good team. They're playing at the Philadelphia Eagles, so I really don't feel like, especially when the Eagles are cooking like they have been, that's never a good combination. Never a good combination headed into Philly. And the Cowboys almost should have won that game. Plenty of opportunities. I know Dak stepped out on a 2-point conversion, like his right foot was out of bounds on a 2-point conversion that he had thought he converted, which would have changed the whole trajectory of the game. They only lost by a score, almost came with the win at the end, stopped just short of the goal line. But a great effort from Dallas. They're really, ever since that huge 49ers loss, they're trying to put that to rest. I know that was a bad loss. That was a bad loss. A lot of people were thinking maybe this Cowboys team can't hang in there with the big teams, but I think what we saw from them on Sunday proves that they can. Now, they didn't get the win, obviously, but I think my opinion on the quality of team the Dallas Cowboys are has improved slightly after that game. So what did the Cowboys do wrong? Like 2 plays. Everything else was fine. But going back to my picks last week, the nerd model cooked last week. Got 3 games wrong. Jack's not watching. Jack is not watching, but he convinced me. He convinced me that the Giants were going to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders just fired their coach, just lost to the Lions, coming off of a short week. No way they win that game, and they blew them out of the water. Granted, Daniel Jones went down. Tyrod Taylor's already hurt. Tommy DeVito. He's not a CJ Stroud, so there's only so much you can ask for him to do as a rookie quarterback, leading that Giants team with Darren Waller out. Not a lot of weapons, so I got that game wrong. The Atlanta Falcons keep disappointing. I think I need to stop picking the Atlanta Falcons to win games, because I think when I pick the Falcons to win, I'm like 1-3. So I'm sorry, Falcons fans. I should really stop picking the Atlanta Falcons to win games, because every time I do, they don't. And that was a crucial one for me. Now, I love Kevin O'Connell for the Minnesota Vikings. I love Joshua Dobbs. The story in that department is just incredible. How they even managed to win that game was incredible. But come on, man. Wow, the change in opinions. I used to get hate for having them, at 20th, and now you want the Falcons at 32nd. Now, no, the Falcons are not the last ranked team in the league, but they definitely aren't good, and they definitely should be looking. They only need a quarterback, in my opinion. Maybe a new coach too. I don't think Arthur Smith is the answer. He's on the hot seat right now. A lot going on in Atlanta. A lot of Falcons fans pissed off about Arthur Smith. Steven, feel free to go at him in the comments section right now. Share your grievances with Arthur Smith, because Falcons fans and fantasy fans alike are not liking this guy. And he really hasn't put anything promising together. And I think, he's definitely on one of the hottest seats in the NFL right now. You think it's only a coaching problem? Yeah. I mean, I think if you had, I don't think Taylor Heineke or Desmond Ridder are going to be playoff winning quarterbacks. I think they can get you to the playoffs. I think they could, you can get a winning record, but I think you just need that little bit of an edge, and if you had, a better starting quarterback, things will get much, much better. The Falcons will actually be, up there with maybe the Lions. Can't believe I'm saying that. What's up, Mom? You're asking, can the Falcons beat the Cardinals with Kyler Murray? Well, we'll see later what happens. But yes, thank you for bringing that up, because Kyler Murray is back. I don't know about you guys, but I have him on 3 fantasy rosters. I made sure I went out and grabbed that guy, because that is a sneaky pick. I called it. From the beginning of the season, this is the game I said he was supposed to be back, and now that's just math. So you can't blame me for that for too much. But look, this is not the same. Steven's already thrown in the towel. Yeah, we gotta see what happens with Michael Wilson's up and coming wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. He might be a potential addition to one of Ian's fantasy teams. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. Still long. I did lose. Which league was that? Oh, I think that was the only league I lost in, though. And, hey, I'm not winless anymore, so I'm not too upset anymore. Now that I have some wins under my belt, I feel better. My self-esteem is a lot better. But I'm cooking in a lot of other leagues. My fantasy teams are finally getting into gear. They're finally, winning games. I have a couple that, a lot of guys are really inconsistent, but my teams are slowly getting better, which is great. A lot of people can't say that. Sucks to suck. I scored the most points in one of my fantasy leagues last week, and I had Raheem Mostert, David Montgomery, and AJ Brown all on my bench. So I think I know what I'm doing. Still working on a model to get fantasy projections. That is going to take so much longer than I anticipate, and I'm sorry if it's probably not going to happen this season. It's not. It might towards the. Yeah, it probably won't happen this season. But what can I do? I want it to be good. I want it to be accurate. But with that being said, did I miss anything? I don't think so. So we're going to go on. Oh, yeah, hold on. I was talking about the nerd model, right? How accurate it was. I want to say that this is the first time that this has happened. Oh, my gosh. I really want this. Okay, that's what I was getting to. It's the same thing. I tried. Mom, Holly, don't listen. But I did do a sports bet for the first time. It wasn't a lot. It was like $10, but I lost. So I don't think I'm going to be doing much sports betting any time in the near future. but I would definitely be making prediction models. That's what I'm working on. That's kind of what I'm in college for. So that might be a next year thing too. Maybe the tail end of this season. That just depends on how much free time I have. And we only got like 5 weeks left of the we only got like 5 weeks left of the NFL season. I used now Joey gave me the whole rundown. I used Sleeper because it's I have a fantasy league on Sleeper. But Joey told me to do prize picks, but I probably won't be doing any prize picks, at least not for a long time, because I'm broke. What's up, Jack? I should bet on I don't know anything about basketball, though. I don't follow basketball at all. I do know that the college basketball season just kicked off, or tipped off, not kicked off, and Georgia lost. We lost to Oregon. So we lost by like 22. Dawson makes wait, hold on. Where's this? Let me see if I can find this. Come on. Yes. Hold on, let's see if this works. Hold on, don't freak out. Don't freak out. This meme. This is gambling. Oh, you like the keyboard sounds? But this is why you should gamble. If anyone's... My mom agree. Mom, I don't know what you agree on. Well, Steven, the difference is that Tennessee basketball is actually good. UGA basketball hasn't been good since the 80s. Maybe we made the tournament once since then. I think we made the Final Four like once. I think we made the tournament like a total of 4 times. And that's some basketball I can get into, but I know basketball bets are easier, but I just don't watch it and I don't pay attention to it. I'm not going to put my money on something that I don't understand. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing for that. But if I could, now, it's not legal in Georgia. See, yeah, my mom is right there with you, Dawson. We're going to Vegas. Jack's spitting facts up there. Yeah, I should just gamble my life away because, those diamonds are right there. I saw a bet on the internet. I saw a bet on the internet that somebody bet like $5 on a 25-legged parlay, single game parlay in the NBA, and they won like 20 grand after it because all of them hit. And he bet like $5. Dang, okay. What was the one you missed? This is our Steven, don't say that. That's some shit Dawson says about the Cowboys. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, if it was legal, just straight betting, I think that's what it's called, on games. Basically just picking who's going to win each game, all that, covering spreads, all of that, over and unders. I don't think that's legal in Georgia, but if it was, I would be rich. I would be a rich man because the nerd model was cooking. Nerd model was cooking. Exhibit A. That's so sad, man. I was looking at him. I wasn't gonna do any of them. I swear on Jared Goff's ankle. I wasn't gonna do one. It's not your year. It's not your year. It's not the Cowboys' year. Sorry, but well, I don't know. Let me just cut to the chase because I've been trying to say this. If you look in the dead center, ignore the Falcons because they fucked me. A meet and greet in Cancun. But if you look in the center, you look at the Chicago Bears at the New Orleans Saints game, you may notice that it is exactly what happened. And I don't have the visual up there, but the Cincinnati-Buffalo game ended 23-18, and I had Cincinnati winning 22-18. So I'm just saying, man. So maybe one day, once I have a fully fledged model, like I have the nerd model, and I kind of had a realization today, actually, while I was doing the nerd model, which is kind of disappointing. So I need to redo the whole nerd model. I'm still using it for this stream, but yeah, there's a few issues with it, and not that it's wrong or anything, but it's just insanely simple. Like anyone can put the nerd model together, and that's not good. That's not unique. I need to make it more unique, and maybe that'll make it more accurate, factoring in more and more things, if that makes any sense. But I don't know. Jack saw a little bit of what the nerd model was, but that's besides the point. We'll get into the nerd model. A little bit later. Oh, please. I don't know if I have any of this set up correctly. We're going to find out. Hang tight, everyone. Everyone cross your fingers, cross your toes. Hopefully I set everything up correctly because there's no promises that I did. Okay. I did. Oh, yeah, that's right. Carson Wentz is back. Carson Wentz today signed with the Los Angeles Rams to back up Matthew Stafford. Now, Matthew Stafford's out with a thumb injury. Who knows? He might be good by the time the Rams play. They're going on their bye week, so he has some time to rest. Doesn't have to worry about it. Rams don't have to worry about going down. It's really not that complicated. And I solved something simple in a very complicated way. 22 is way too much. The shift. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mom and Jack. I'm sorry. I think Jack was actually advocating for lower than where the Giants are. But anyways, and hey, there's a good chance. There is a good chance they might do it. Shooting for 33rd. The Georgia Bulldogs have taken the 32nd spot. New York Giants are now 33rd. But anywho, 32nd as it sits right now. Arizona Cardinals. Clayton Tune played. Cardinals absolutely disrespected Joshua Dobbs and everything he did for that team. So, Clayton Tune, I believe I'm saying his name right. He had under 60 passing yards on Sunday. Now, granted, it was against the best defense in the NFL thus far, the Cleveland Browns. Not an excuse. Not an excuse. It was bad. It was bad. That any quarterback having less than 60 yards is not good. And the Cardinals had a decent quarterback in Joshua Dobbs. He's middle of the pack. I'm not going to say he's an elite guy, but he was doing a much better job. Definitely more likely to win games than Clayton Tune, the rookie. But anyways, I think the Cardinals did know that Kyler Murray was coming back, and they knew that the season's over. The Cardinals have what is it, like 8 losses? Yeah, they have 8 losses, one more, and they've clinched a losing record. And I don't know about you or the next guy, but I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are winning out the rest of the season. I have a hard time believing that. So the Arizona Cardinals are 32nd. Kyler Murray is making his return this week, so maybe that pushes them up a bit. We'll see how they perform about how they perform against the Atlanta Falcons. But Danny DeVito, Tommy DeVito, skinny Danny DeVito, it might as well just be Danny DeVito. We'd all rather it be Danny DeVito. At least that guy is like built like a fucking truck, dude. He could fucking you could probably tackle him very easy, but it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be somewhat hard. What do you mean you're handsome King Josh Dobbs? Are you a Vikings fan now, Steven? That's not allowed. Okay, no, it is allowed because the Vikings are actually a really cool team when you think about it. I love if they weren't in the NFC North, I would be rooting for the Vikings so hard right now. I would be rooting for them so hard. But that's enough about the Vikings. They're a little bit ways. They're on different pages of the power rankings. 32nd, New York Giants. I'm sorry, everyone's hurt on that team. When the offensive line is hurt, the quarterbacks suffer. And now when the offensive line is finally healthy, there's no quarterbacks to be behind the healthy offensive line. Healthy-ish offensive line. I mean, Jack and Mom, you know this better than me, but I'm running out of excuses for the Giants. There's a lot of stars on defense. The defense is all right, but the offense is just so atrociously bad. Okay, that's all right. I remember, so I just followed Josh Dobbs. They're calling it, I heard on Pat McAfee, they're calling him, what are they calling him? Our giant turds. Yep. I don't remember, but this guy is like a scientist on the side. Like dude's crazy smart. And the way that he just like kind of adapted to a playbook he knew for like 3 days and won a game on the road against, a pretty decent Atlanta Falcons secondary. It's different. He's a good guy. He's a great guy. The Giants are giant turds. Sorry, guys. Season's looking pretty rough. You don't have another quarterback, and you are also at 7 losses, 2 more for clinching a losing record. Not far ahead, though, are the Carolina Panthers. This team is looking atrocious. Frank Reich, this is his first season at Carolina. I remember seeing this hire, thinking it was great. It's going to be a good hire. Oh, really? I didn't know he was from Alpharetta. But he's on the hot seat. Frank Reich is on the hot seat. Bryce Young, he definitely has potential in this league, I think. I'm a firm believer that he still has plenty of potential. Adam Thielen's been playing wonderful. Just need to build pieces around that defense and around the offensive line, both of which have been extremely underwhelming. And I think the coaching, too, is playing a huge issue in Carolina. Put him at 30. 29th, the Bears. The Bears are a team, I think, let me check. But I think Justin Fields is on track to come back this week. I'm going to do it on the satisfying keyboard, actually, because that'll make Dawson happy if he's still here. All right, he's listed as day-to-day. He's limited in practice. Yeah, okay. So maybe he won't play. Maybe it'd be Tyson Bagent. Either way, both quarterbacks have proven to win games. That's the shitty Thursday night football game. We'll get into that more, but my 29th ranked team and my 30th ranked team are playing each other on Thursday Night Football. What a primetime game. Give it up for the schedule makers. I'm cooking that one up. Now, maybe they didn't think these teams would be that bad, but there's definitely better teams you knew would be better than both of these teams. But it's all right. It's all right. Now, maybe I predicted both of these teams to be a lot better than they are right now. I don't know. That might have been a little bit of a bad prediction, but I don't know. But, the Bears very inconsistent. They'll have like that game they did against Washington, the game they had against the Raiders, a defense who has been showing up as of recently. And the next week they shit the bed. So who knows what the Bears are. 28th, I have the Rams, and this is extremely low. You know me, I was a huge Rams hype guy. Like, I always hyped up the Los Angeles Rams. It's a paint. I'd rather watch paint. That's not true. I would much rather watch football. There's definitely some fantasy implications in this game. You gotta. If Justin Fields plays, you gotta start Justin Fields. If Cole Kmet's been killing it. You gotta. I'm glad you're in agreement, because if I'm gonna work during a Thursday night football game, I'm gonna work with this one. You guys should hear the Sunday night football game, a great one between the New York Jets and the Las Vegas Raiders. Don't know who thought. I thought the Jets would be good. I don't know who thought the Raiders would be good. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. The 4 o'clock window games and the 1 o'clock window games are going to be good, okay? And we got a game in Germany, another bad one, Colts and Patriots, that no one else is probably going to watch, except for all the people in Germany, I'm sure, are thrilled. Germany are the goats of football right now. They know how, their crowds in Germany know how to watch football. They know it better than us somehow. And they've known the sport for like 2 years. So good on Germany, I guess. But Rams, another team plagued with injuries, especially at the running back position. Now at the quarterback position, Matthew Stafford with a hurt thumb. Stetson Bennett, I don't know, in rehab or something. And allegedly in rehab. He's probably, I don't know if he's actually in rehab, but that's what I've heard. And I don't know. They lost to a atrocious, I can say that confidently, an atrocious Green Bay Packers team. And I think without Matthew Stafford on this team, they're done. They're done. They are a team plagued with injuries. It sucks. But they have potential to be good. So I don't expect them to hang out down here for very long. I think at least at the end of the season, we'll see them slowly climb back up to the middle of the pack. If everyone can come back healthy, running backs, Matthew Stafford, then good on them. The Rams might end up taking the 7th seed of the playoffs. We'll see what happens. A lot of football left. They're only just barely over the second half. We only barely stepped foot into the second half of the season. Now, 27th, Green Bay Packers. Great win. Aaron Jones finally got some touches. Notice how the Packers are winning now that my fantasy players are playing well. But at the same time, they played the Brett Rypien-led Los Angeles Rams, who, last year, I think it was Wolford or something like that. For the Rams, they were atrocious. They were terrible. I'm not that impressed by this win. I have a date with the Pittsburgh Steelers next week, so we'll see what happens. Are the G-men going to take Brock Bowers if they can't get a QB? Probably not. Probably not. If you have Darren Waller on that squad, I don't think they will. Now, unless they trade him away, because I've seen crazier stuff happen in the NFL. I haven't really done any draft analysis yet. I'm going to be honest. Got a couple months for my draft analysis. Mock drafts will be happening somewhat soonish, so that's interesting. But yeah, it'd be cool for you, I bet. But I would love to have Brock Bowers on my team, but I doubt it. 26th, the New England Patriots. I think the Patriots, as of recently, have had better wins than the Green Bay Packers. They still have been losing games, but they haven't been getting blown out by nearly as much. They beat the Bills, which is always a great win. Hung in there against the Commanders. The Commanders aren't that good, but I don't know. The New England Patriots aren't that good. Mac Jones isn't that good. Losing Kendrick Bourne really hurts. It hurts me too. But Ramondre Stevenson finally had a good game. Granted, it was against the Commanders defense. It's not that good. But yeah, I think the New England Patriots are just a bad team. I can't say anything else on it. 25th, though, the Denver Broncos. If this Denver Broncos team can figure out, surprisingly enough, the defensive problems that they've been having, this team might actually be good. I don't think playoffs are in the question anymore, unfortunately for them, because the AFC is loaded. And, they have a tough schedule coming up. I just don't see them putting together that many games to, become even the 7th seed in the AFC. So I don't think they're in playoff contention. But at the same time, Russell Wilson has taken a huge leap from what he did last season. I think if that growth continues under Sean Payton, maybe next year we'll see a much better Denver Broncos team. But hey, they have some close wins under their belt against teams below them. Great win against the Chiefs. That was their best win of the season, ironically. But Broncos mid-team, not mid-team. They're still a bad team, but I don't know. How about the Las Vegas Raiders, though? This team absolutely dogged on Josh McDaniels, as they rightfully should. The players did. What's the guy's name? DP. Antonio Pierce. What a start for his head coaching career. He seems like a guy that has won the locker room over. He seems like a guy that is hyping up his players. He is getting them excited. He's making them feel like they can win any game. And I'm sorry, Jack, but they beat the ever-living shit out of the Giants. Granted, they didn't have Daniel Jones for the full game. Injuries happen. But this Raiders team, especially the defensive side of the ball, the Raiders are impressing. Are starting to impress me. And I thought the Vikings and the Raiders, we'll talk about the Vikings later, but those are two defenses I thought would be really bad. And they aren't. They're actually pretty decent. Max Crosby and that defensive line are actually looking pretty good. So, go Raiders. Good job, guys, getting that first 100%, 30-6 win right after firing Josh McDaniels. Good job on the Raiders. Now, 23rd, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Close one in Houston. I saw a lot of good things, saw a lot of things I liked. Secondary is really struggling. Granted, C.J. Stroud is playing phenomenal, so can't blame them too much for that. Came so close to win that game. Baker Mayfield did everything he could to win that game. I think the defensively, there's some issues for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Defensive line is great. Yeah, you're right, Jack. There's absolutely no way to hide it. The Giants, there's not a lot of depth on that team, I guess we can say. But Tampa Bay Buccaneers, close one in Houston. I really don't know how good this team is. They've looked promising in some games, and in other games they look like very mediocre, and they got a tougher schedule, easier division, but they already lost a home game against the Atlanta Falcons. Then they have to go back into Atlanta. That's going to be tough. They had that road win against the New Orleans Saints, a huge road win, might I add, but that was without Alvin Kamara, and the Saints look like a completely different team with Alvin Kamara on the field. So we'll see what happens for the Buccaneers in the NFC South, but they look, just like an average team. I think Baker Mayfield is an average quarterback. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are great. Rachaad White's playing phenomenal. Defensive line's good. Secondary is not looking too hot. Now for the Atlanta Falcons, you need a quarterback. I still don't think the Falcons, Steven, if you're still watching, you could definitely tell me better. But the defense the last couple of weeks has been significantly struggling. Top three. Hi, Zane. Okay, Zane, we're talking about the Falcons, so this is perfect. This is perfect time for you to step in here. What the fuck is happening? What is going wrong with this Atlanta team? Because I think, one, you need a quarterback. I know there's pieces in place for a quarterback to be good, but both of them on the roster just don't seem like guys. That's what Jack said about the Giants. And that's what Steven was saying. So I don't know. My bad. But I need to know what is happening with this Falcons defense. Yeah, the Falcons defense. The first couple weeks they've looked phenomenal. Now they're looking kind of the opposite. They're kind of reminiscing about what Falcons defenses as we've seen in the past. I don't know, and I don't know if there's an injury. I know Grady Jarrett got hurt, but you tell me Travis Bell didn't carry the Atlanta Falcons to a victory? That hurts. You know, I've heard a lot from Falcons fans and fantasy owners alike. Sounds about right. And granted, as much as he would like to have, like, we knew this from the beginning of the season, running the football is all great and dandy. The Falcons will be great. Falcons will be great running the ball, but throwing the ball, there's really not a lot of options, and teams are going to figure out if you just only run the ball. Yeah, okay, that's fair. They're just getting fucking tired from carrying the whole team. It might be just demoralizing. I know Arthur Smith, I was talking about this in the beginning. He's a head coach on the hot seat if they don't even make the playoffs. Well, yeah, Mom, I did see that. I don't think it's changing his luck, and I really don't want to see that. It feels so wrong looking at Arthur Smith with no mustache. But enough about the Falcons. 21st, Washington Commanders. Close game at New England. I think the Commanders week in and week out prove that they're just a mediocre team. They can win some games against really good teams, and then they can lose some games against really bad teams. I think that's the perfect way to describe him. Sam Howell has been a lovely surprise in the NFL. I think he's been playing great at quarterback. Defense, some work needs to be done on the defense for the Commanders, and they just traded away their whole defense. So good luck to them. I don't know what their plan was there. If Ron Rivera is probably on the hot seat as well, because he hasn't really been winning there either. I saw that too. And rightfully so. Mom, do you have Sam Howell in fantasy? Because he's actively playing in a division against the New York Giants. Now I get it. The New York Giants season is over. I'm sorry, but I don't know. I have him in fantasy too. He's a great QB2 option. Let's go Sam Howell, rooting for the guy as well. Rookie last year out of North Carolina, played one game, killed the Cowboys. Anyway, we'll move on to the next page. We've been dwelling on this page of the power rankings for quite a bit. We still got a lot to cover. Okay, yeah, figured. All right, here are the Week 10 power rankings, 9 through 20. Colts sneak back up to the 20th spot. I do think there's some injuries plaguing that team as well. The defense really just hasn't been looking as good as it could be. The offense obviously is really good. Gardner Minshew can lead that offense. He can win football games, but he can also lose football games. So Colts are another wishy-washy team. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can really say about the Indianapolis Colts. They can lose against some teams like for the Saints, for example. They had like a 2-score lead against the Saints, and they blew it, and they ended up losing by a hefty margin. Not that much, but 1.5 scores, something like that. So Colts are a very inconsistent team, in my opinion. I mean, blowing out the Panthers isn't anything special, especially when Bryce Young throws 2 touchdowns, throws more touchdowns to the other team than his own. But yeah, Colts, I don't know, 20th. Jets, what the fuck? I was rooting for you guys. Come on, man. I thought y'all would be kind of decent with Zach Wilson. Chargers aren't that good, right? Lions have to play them next week. I don't want them to be good. But they showed up. They showed off on the Jets. And again, I didn't watch the game. Me, Jack, and Dawson were watching Five Nights at Freddy's. But I thought that game would be so much closer than it was. I thought the Jets would actually win that game. One of my upset picks, but it's fine, I guess. But yeah, keep the Jets at 19th. Zach Wilson has a lot to figure out. He's definitely not the answer. He's the short-term answer. He's not the long-term answer. This team needs Aaron Rodgers back, if it's even feasible, which who knows at this point, because Aaron Rodgers is hinting that it is, but I don't even know if that's going to be enough to save the Jets' season. They need to start winning again. Now, granted, they only lost one game, and they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, but losing that way to the Chargers is rough, I think. 18th, Tennessee Titans and Steelers above them played on Thursday night. Didn't watch it. I was working. I don't know. I think both of these teams are pretty mediocre teams. Now, we're in that range where it's kind of like, what can I say about a team? They're just kind of, all right, they're inconsistent. They have some great games. They lose some bad games. It was close. We all expected it to be close. Steelers got the win at the very end. Will Levis didn't play as well as he did in his opener against the Atlanta Falcons. But hey, this Steelers defense is for real, y'all. If you have the Steelers defense in fantasy, you know this defense is for real. TJ Watt is for real. But yeah, Tennessee Titans. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. The Pittsburgh Steelers are another team. A lot of people have this team ranked really high. I don't trust the offense still. I know Steelers fans also don't trust the offense, especially the way they lost to Jacksonville at home. I mean, not reading too much into that, but I feel like if they were competing with the rest of the AFC, that would be a game that they would win. They didn't. I think the Steelers can sneak in there at like a 7th seed, but I'm not that confident in their abilities quite yet. I need to see more from this offense, but the defense has been absolutely stunning on some teams. And, you know, me and I think his name was Mark, we're talking about how TJ Watt could be an MVP. He's definitely not, you know, top 5 in consideration, but I think there's an argument that he could be top 10 because this man is so crucial to the Steelers team, at least to them winning games. 16th, the New Orleans Saints. Look, they showed off on the Colts. I thought, they're up and coming. The Saints are great now that Alvin Kamara is putting up Christian McCaffrey numbers after being suspended for the first 3 games of the season. Then they, had that game against the Bears. And, yeah, I predicted that game to be 17-24. But honestly, in the back of my head, I was thinking the Saints should control that game. It didn't really seem like they did. Too close for comfort, especially the way that the Saints defense has been playing and against a Bears backup quarterback. I don't know. There's reasonable doubt that the Saints aren't as good as they are, but there's also a lot of evidence that they are good. They have a great test against a great Minnesota Vikings team this Sunday. I really want them to win that game because the Vikings need to back off, okay? We need that NFC North title. But Joshua Dobbs, very smart man. Vikings defense with Brian Flores, they're really showing out. So it's going to be a great game to watch. 15th, the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud is the offensive rookie of the year. If you don't agree with that, you're just wrong. CJ Stroud is hands down the offensive rookie of the year. Not a doubt in my mind. There's nothing in my mind telling me otherwise. That man, I watched this game. He had 46 seconds left on the clock to make something happen after Baker Mayfield led a fantastic drive to give the Buccaneers the lead. No kicker on this team, by the way. CJ Stroud goes down. Him and Tank Dell connect for the game-winning touchdown. Tank Dell, another guy on this Texans team that has absolutely been showing out. A lot of potential for the Houston Texans to be good years to come. CJ Stroud playing like an NFL veteran in his rookie season. I think he's a Pro Bowler. Fill in the blanks. He deserves all the credit. Not all the credit for the Texans winning, but he deserves a bunch of credit because he is for real. He's for real. 14th, the Minnesota Vikings. Now that scares me. That's a little too close to who. Back off, buds. Okay, y'all got it last year. You got it. We haven't had it in 30 years. We have not had it in 30 years. It's our turn. Back off. Get your grubby hands off that title. You can beat us in the playoff. Okay, I don't know, actually. When it comes to getting a playoff win or a division title, which one do I want more? I don't know. The Lions suck at doing both, so either one. But please, just give us one. Give us one. It's our turn. We waited so long. Please. But anyways, this team is an NFC North team, rivals to my team, but it's so hard not to like this team. I watched Kevin O'Connell's, post-game locker room speech. This dude has the locker room on fire. Joshua Dobbs has been there for like 5 days, and he has the locker room on fire. It's so hard not to root for this team. And, Kevin O'Connell does remind me of like a younger Dan Campbell. This Vikings team is so exciting. Justin Jefferson, he's got to be coming back soon. He's got to be coming back, especially with this new life in this Minnesota Vikings team, currently holding the 7th seed in the NFC. When is this man returning? He's unlikely to play in Week 10. So no Justin Jefferson for this week. But after that, Vikings and the Lions, they both got an easy, okay, I'm not going to say easy, an easier stretch in their schedule. They play, a lot of, the Bears and Packers. It's going to come down to the wire. They play each other twice in the last 3 games of the season. I would think that they would split those games. They play in Minnesota first. If Detroit can get a win in Minnesota first, there's a sigh of relief there. But that's going to be hard. That's going to be really hard because that is also a tough environment to play in. The Minnesota Vikings are hot. They're hot. So hard not to like the Vikings. Moving on to 13th, Buffalo Bills. They're extraordinarily inconsistent. Lost again to the Cincinnati Bengals. So that's not much of a shock. I feel like the Bengals kind of own the Buffalo Bills in recent years, at least in the past 2 seasons. But they're in trouble. A lot of us didn't see us in this situation, but the Buffalo Bills are in trouble. They need to start winning some big games. Let me see. Let's look at the rest of the Bills' schedule, shall we? They got a home game this week against the Denver Broncos. Got to win that. You cannot be losing that game. Should definitely win at home against Denver Broncos. At home against the New York Jets, you have to win that. And now you play at the Philadelphia Eagles, at the Kansas City Chiefs, home against the Dallas Cowboys, at the Los Angeles Chargers, home against the Patriots. You lost them already. You got to win this one. And then at the Miami Dolphins. That's brutal. And this is a very tough AFC, let alone AFC division. This whole conference is insanely competitive. I think it's scrolling at the bottom. You can see the playoff picture, but the Bills are not in it. Currently, as it stands right now, it's scrolling right now. As I'm speaking, the Buffalo Bills are not in the playoffs. So the season ended tomorrow. The Buffalo Bills will not be in the playoffs. 4 teams in the AFC North are, though. But a lot of football left, but the Bills need to start winning some close games. They need to get a win against the Philadelphia, at least maybe Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Dolphins. You can't lose all those games. Obviously you can't. What is this? I just turned off on its own. But you need to win at least. You can't lose more than 2 of those games, and those are all very good teams. A lot of them on the road as well. 3 of them on the road. So you got to win those games. Plus, you can't count out the Chargers, what they just did to the New York Jets, a team the Buffalo Bills have been struggling against. They're in trouble. Now, going back to the Los Angeles Chargers, they're another team that's in trouble. If we look at their schedule, now granted, they showed off. They finally look back. They finally had a great game of football last night against the New York Jets, winning by 3 touchdowns. They got my Lions next week. It's going to be a great game. Then they got the Packers, should beat the Packers. And they play that Baltimore Ravens team, New England Patriots, Denver Broncos, a brand new Raiders team, the Buffalo Bills. Away game at the Denver Broncos game. That's always a good game, always tough game for the Chargers. And then a game against the Chiefs. Looking at the schedule, the Chargers could make the playoffs, but again, the AFC is incredibly competitive. Like, honestly, can't tell you right now who is going. I can't be so certain who's going to make the playoffs, but in my simulations, in my own spare time doing NFL predictors, I do not have the Chargers making the playoffs. And I do think they are a top 15 team. Right now, I have them ranked 12th. We'll see what happens, but they need to be consistent. They have 2 great games, one against the Bears, another against the Jets. I feel like, Justin Herbert didn't have a great game. There wasn't a great game rushing the ball. Touchdown from special teams. Special teams and the defense played well. Now they got a date with the Lions. Believe it or not, another good defense that has been exposed before the season. Chargers can try and emulate what the Baltimore Ravens did. But anyways, at 11th, my Detroit Lions. I don't have them in the top 10. I'm not doing I can't do that again. If I rank them too high, I'm gonna get bit for it. But this is actually where I think the Lions rank. I think we are a team that can get exposed by good teams. Granted, we beat the Chiefs. We can beat anybody. Had a bye week. It was great. It was nice and relaxing. Hopefully everyone is coming back healthy and we're all set and ready for this Chargers team, because it's not going to be an easy game. This is definitely probably one of, if not the toughest games we have going forward. 10th, the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson was back. Granted, he played against the Arizona Cardinals, but he showed off. It was a great effort. Browns finally looked back. That was the first time I've really seen Deshaun click in this offense. Amari Cooper played great. Defense is still dominating the game. Browns are playing like a playoff team. What can I say? The Browns, and granted, the AFC is competitive, especially that division, so we'll see what happens down the stretch when they have to play, they play the Ravens this week. They're going to have to play the Bengals and the Steelers both again. So we'll see what happens in those games. But Browns are looking pretty good. Now we move on to 9, Seattle Seahawks. They actually managed to lose by more to the Ravens than the Detroit Lions did. And that just shows you how good this Baltimore Ravens team is. But, I'm not going to put that past them. I still think the Seattle Seahawks are going to be fine. I think the defense is going to continue to improve. And I think the offense is going to continue to improve. Jackson Smith and Jigba finally doing something in this offense, more than really any rookie receiver besides probably Tank Dell and Puka Nacua. So he's playing like the wide receiver that the Chargers want him to play as. So good for them. I think the team's going to ascend. I think, they got a tough schedule, tough division. We'll see what happens to the Seahawks in the future. Let's look at the Seahawks schedule. I'm just going to do this with most of the teams, I guess. So the Seahawks got a home game against the Commanders this week. Then they play at the Rams. The Rams dominated them week 1. We'll see what happens if Matthew Stafford's hurt and ready for that, or up and ready for that game. A lot to factor in there. They play 2 games against the 49ers still. A 49 team that has been looking a little bit shaky the last couple of weeks. I think the Seahawks could definitely squeeze a win out of them. At the Cowboys, against the Eagles. Steelers are a good team. At the Tennessee Titans, the Seahawks, it's definitely a winnable game. It's definitely a winnable game. And closing the season off against the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray, important factor to add. I think that there is a route for the easy. There is an easier route for the Seattle Seahawks team to end up in the playoffs. But we'll move on. Top 8 teams headed into Week 10. Top 8. That's 8. Top 8 teams headed into Week 10. 8, the Miami Dolphins. I think they are a better team. Devon Achane, I don't know, however you say it, is coming back. Thank you. Fantasy owners everywhere are praising this, because unless you have Raheem Mostert, but he'll probably still put up good numbers, because this Dolphins offense is still insane. They had a little bit of a slump against a great Kansas City Chiefs defense, but that's besides the point. They need to start winning big games. Now, granted, all of the big games that they've had, they've lost all of them. All have been on the road. So I mean, maybe you count the Chargers as a big game in Week 1 where they narrowly escaped there with the win. So good on them for doing that. Schedule going forward, though, not too tough. Raiders, Jets, Commanders, Titans, Jets again, Cowboys. That's the game where they can prove themselves. They have a home game against the Dallas Cowboys. Then they play at the Baltimore Ravens and the home against the Buffalo Bills. They can get out of there with like 1 or 2 losses. They're winning the AFC East. Hands down. Dallas Cowboys, I already talked about this later to Dawson, but the Cowboys are ascending. I think they've come a long way since that 41-10 loss against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, granted, that San Francisco 49ers team was rolling. No real adversity yet in that season. But the Dallas Cowboys are not a team to be slept on, unfortunately. I know we all want them to lose. Well, are they gonna? Do I think they're Super Bowl? Do I think they're Super Bowl contenders? No, I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders. But they definitely competed. They can compete with Super Bowl contenders like they did this Sunday, very narrowly not getting a win out of there. So good on the Cowboys. This team is ascending. 49ers didn't play. They're only at 6 because they beat the shit out of the Cowboys. They should, in theory, still be good. I think after this bye week, after they get Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel back, this team will start rolling again. They'll figure it out eventually, in my opinion. But have them sitting at 6 for right now. 5th, the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals re-entered the top 5. What are you saying, Dak for president? Why are you saying that, Dad? I think, do you have him in fantasy or something? Probably. But Joe Shiesty and the Cincinnati Bengals back in the top 5. They shut down the San Francisco 49ers offense. They shut down the Bills offense. Team's been playing great. Joe Burrow's finally mobile. He's moving again. He's shifting around. This team, they're playing like Super Bowl contenders again. I know they weren't great in the beginning of the season, but I called it. People were arguing with me in the YouTube comment sections of the NFL. They were saying that, no, the Bengals are in trouble. The Bengals are in trouble. And, after the loss to Tennessee, I thought they were. But no, Joe Burrow is healthy. Joe Burrow is back. Cincinnati Bengals are back. They are going to be a threat down the road. Now, I figured. Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars at 4. They have the biggest win streak in the NFL. They, coming off a bye, have a date with the San Francisco 49ers. That's going to be a great game. I don't know why that's not the Thursday night football game or the Sunday night football game, because that's insanely entertaining stuff right there. That's the 1 o'clock game. Going to be some fire. Going to be a great game. Jaguars defense is playing good. 49ers looking to get back on track. I think they can. Both really good defenses and really good offenses. Should be very entertaining, in my opinion. Okay. Third is the Kansas City Chiefs. After that loss to the Denver Broncos, I'm not going to read too deep into that. That happens when you play a team twice in 3 weeks. Kansas City Chiefs are still the Kansas City Chiefs. They have Patrick Mahomes. They have Travis Kelce. I think they are on a bye this week, sitting at the number 3 spot. You can't really drop them lower than 5. That's just playing out wrong. Defense is still playing great. Limited that stellar Miami offense significantly. So good for the Chiefs. You sit at 3rd. Now this is where it gets weird, but the Baltimore Ravens have done enough to convince me that they are the best team in the NFL. They blow out 2 top 10 or fringe top 10 teams by like 30-plus points. Who's next? Who are they going to take next? Like, they play Miami down the stretch. Are they going to do the same thing to the Miami Dolphins? They might. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. That's why they're above the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, Philadelphia Eagles' best record in the NFL. Obviously, they're very good. But they had a close one against the Cowboys. They lost to the New York Jets. As of recently, the Baltimore Ravens have been insanely consistent on both sides of the ball. Everything's going right for the Baltimore Ravens right now. They, in my opinion, they are the clear-cut number 1 team in the NFL. Woo. All right. So that concludes NFL Power Rankings. We got nerd model picks. Don't you worry. I'm going to show you exactly what's going to happen in Week 10 of the NFL season. Let's get straight into it. That's not what I... Wait, what? Hold on. Un momento, por favor. Technical difficulties. Oh my gosh. I swear I set this up beforehand. I promise. You get to see how this process works. Come on, baby. Oh, this sucks. I'm sorry. All right, that's gonna have to do. Anyways, you can see the terrible, awful, god awful Thursday night football game right here. The Carolina Panthers at the Chicago Bears. Not a lot of defense projected in this one. Got the Bears winning it 30-25. Now, if you believe it or not, we have a Germany game this weekend at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday. Indianapolis Colts take on the New England Patriots. I have the Colts narrowly getting out of there with the win, 20-19, the final score. Indianapolis Colts taking the New England Patriots, and honestly, I could see the Colts scoring more points than that. So we'll move on to some of our other games here. Number 10 ranked Cleveland Browns head into Baltimore. That's the number 1 ranked team, actually, not the number 2. Final score 28-18. Baltimore Ravens, first time they met, beat the Cleveland Browns. A Dorian Thompson-Robinson led Cleveland Browns team, 28-0. Now they got Deshaun Watson mixed with this rolling defense. Maybe the Ravens will probably score less than 30 points. Congrats to the Browns for limiting the Ravens to less than 30 points. Huge stake now in the NFL. Green Bay Packers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got the Steelers narrowly escaping this one. 17-16 final score in Pittsburgh. Here's that crazy game. The San Francisco 49ers and Jacksonville Jaguars, 7th and 4th ranked team in the NFL. I say 49ers coming off of that bye week are rested and are back to their winning ways. Plus the Jaguars, their win streak is too big. It's got to end at some point. Give me the 49ers in that game, 23-19. Now, the New Orleans Saints versus Joshua Dobbs-led red-hot Minnesota Vikings in Minneapolis. Could go either way. 16th ranked, 14th ranked. Not a big fluctuation there. I got the Vikings taking that one again. A narrow victory once again, 22-21. Going to be a great game. I'm thrilled for that one. I need the Saints to win. I'm rooting for the Vikings, but I need the Saints to win, if that makes any sense. All right. Moving on, the Houston Texans at the Cincinnati Bengals. I think this one might be somewhat closer than what some people think, but 22-18, the final score. I've got the Cincinnati Bengals taking this one at home against the Houston Texans. Tennessee Titans at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, two pretty evenly matched teams, in my opinion. Should be a great game. Tennessee Titans coming off of a mini bye week after playing Thursday night last week. Tampa Bay Buccaneers trying to get back onto winning grounds. I think they're on a 4-game losing streak. I have the Buccaneers ending that losing streak and crushing out a narrow victory, 19-20 against the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Detroit Lions coming off their bye week, hopefully well rested and extremely healthy, head into a red-hot Los Angeles Chargers team at Los Angeles. I don't know if that super fan is going to be there or not. I think that has huge implications onto whether or not we win or not. Going to be a great game. I feel like the Chargers and Lions always play each other tough. Although the last time the Lions played a team on the road, it wasn't pretty. I got the Chargers squeezing out a win here. Should be a good game, 24-21 in that one. Kyler Murray's return game, his revenge arc, not really. He doesn't have any qualms with the Atlanta Falcons, but Kyler Murray is back. Home game for the Arizona Cardinals against an Atlanta Falcons team that has been slipping up as of recently. I have the Arizona Cardinals getting their second win of the season. So, Mom, if you're still watching, there's the answer to your question. I say the Arizona Cardinals are going to beat the Atlanta Falcons at home in Arizona, 20-16. And then final 4 games of the week. I'm sorry. I mean, you know me, I have to not pick the Lions. But the 31st ranked New York Giants taking on the 8th ranked Dallas Cowboys. Not going to be pretty. Probably going to be reminiscent of what happened in week 1 for the New York Giants. Maybe even worse. I don't think they'll lose by 40, though. That's kind of insane. 35-18. Don't think the Giants are actually going to score 18 points, though. But Nerd Model says they get 18. 35-18, the Dallas Cowboys win that game easily, no sweat. Speaking of sweat, Montez Sweat got traded to the 49ers, but despite that, I do have the Commanders keeping it close against Seattle, 24-23, the final score in that one. Seattle Seahawks getting out of there with the win. New York Jets at the Las Vegas Raiders. This is your primetime games, folks. This is what we're going to be watching Sunday night. 19th ranked and 24th ranked teams. Although this is a brand new Raiders team, they say about the Lions. Raiders, great win coming off a win against the New York Giants. Raiders defense playing phenomenally. Nerd Model's got the Raiders squeezing out a tight win here. 19-17 against the New York Jets. And for the final game, Monday Night Football, Denver Broncos coming off their bye, head into Buffalo, take on the Buffalo Bills. I say the Buffalo Bills bounce back in tremendous fashion, getting a 31-16 win against the Denver Broncos, finally getting back on track. And that, folks, will conclude the 19th episode of the Pro Nerd Sports Podcast. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please do. Help me out so much. If you enjoyed what you saw, if you watched this far, hopefully you did. So make sure to subscribe. I do this every week. And hopefully I'll be able to get a more consistent schedule going pretty soon. But with that, I'll see you all in the next one. If you have nothing else you need to tell me before I dip, if you think my opinions are wrong, if you think I suck, if you think I'm stupid, please let me know, because I would love to hear any feedback you guys have. And with that, I'll be signing off. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.